Listen, before I start, I just want y'all to know I saw everything. I watched everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. And let me tell you something right now. As I'm taking my sips of water, there's a lot to unpack, there's a lot to uncover. There's just so much to deal with. But here's the thing. I'm here. I'm here to unpack and uncover all of that. Now, I know this happened a few days ago, and I just thought about it and I said, man, this is a case. This is a serious case, and somebody, i.e. me, needs to do some type of analysis on it. I know a lot of people have done their little analysis of what's going on, but an in-depth one, I don't know. But I'll do it. I'll try it out. And we'll see the curious case of Derrick Jaxn. Derrick Jaxn. Is it Derrick Jackson? That's probably his full last name. But what he goes by is Derrick Jaxn. Alright, we'll stick with Derrick Jaxn. What a time to be alive, huh? What a time to be alive in 2021 where we have so many relationship gurus. So many people telling men and women how to be able to live their lives mostly naturally. How to understand a woman, how to understand a man. In this case, Derrick Jaxn is the one who basically is telling women how men should understand them, how men should treat them, how men should take care of them, how men should be lifting them up as the queens that they are. Is that a bad thing? Is that terrible? I wouldn't think so. Because wouldn't us men want to hear the same thing? Uplift us men as the leaders that we are, as the knight in shining armor that we are. Sounds pretty good. It sounds great. And he has become famous for telling women what they should hear. Or what they want to hear. He's had books. He has talked to the camera, said spoken words about dealing with women. It's just something where you look at his rise and you say, wow, I see how this brother made it. 6 foot plus, muscular guy, handsome dude, right? Handsome dude. And you say, wow, he's pretty much the prototypical guy that a woman would really want. They don't even have to search. They could just look at him. And there he is. You look into the comments of his videos and you see so much love. So much women are so happy to hear that there's a man who gets it. There's a man who understands how the women want to be treated. And it just makes so much sense, right? Who and why haven't men done this consistently? Derrick Jaxn has been doing this since 2013. There's nothing new here. He's been doing this for a long time. It's been 8 years. 8 long years. He has a plethora of videos. He's all over social media. He is basically the Black Jesus out here when it comes to dealing with women. He is the highest of highest males when it comes to dealing with women. He's the best at it, isn't he? And when you see what has been built up over the course of 8 years, you say, oh, I see how he got to where he got to. I see why he is at the top of the top, or one of the people at the top when it comes to being a quote-unquote relationship guru, or maybe more so a woman guru. You see why. And I say, his business sense Oh, fantastic, right? What do you do? What is his business? Yes, it is talking about how a man and woman should deal with each other in relationships, but he mostly talks about how men should step up to women for that inevitable relationship, for that inevitable dating phase, for that inevitable marriage. He tells the women what they want to hear, how they should feel, how a man should basically step it up. And you know, in women's nature, they're generally emotional. Generally. Men, generally logical. Women, generally emotional. So when he taps into that emotion of the women and tells them, hey, you are a queen. Hey, I don't mind going home and rubbing your feet. I don't mind going home and giving you a massage. I don't mind hearing when you come back from work how your day was. It makes you really think, wow, I see why. And is that bad business? What is bad business when business is booming? What is bad business, really? Think about it. He has made a living off of telling women what they want to hear. Is some of the advice amazing? That's subjective for everyone, whether you're a man or woman. But do people follow his advice? Yeah, of course they do. Or else he wouldn't be popular. Oh, they follow his advice, all right. Just like the Kevin Samuels, just like the Alpha Male Strategies, just like the O'Shea Dukes. They follow the advice, or they at least hear it, they internalize it, and they adjust it to what they're doing in their own lives. Derrick Jaxn, as I said, is the prototypical man that every woman would basically want. Every woman, whether you're black or white. He is the one that you think of as the knight in shining armor. And when he tells the women how men should basically step up, how men should treat women in certain ways, better ways, say, hey, if they're not ready for marriage, don't worry about it. You need to find a better man anyway. Wow. It just blows the mind, doesn't it? Women just blow their gasket. They're like, yes. Oh, yes. This is what I want to hear. Wow. Somebody, some man, especially a black man, is now understanding me. That's his business. You're doing something that applies to their emotion that drives them to keep coming. Right? Us men, we have emotion, of course. It's not just gone. Of course we do. So when we see his videos, we're like, oh, okay. I see. So we're listening and we're like, oh, okay. This is cool. This is a cool thing. Even if you might not agree with everything he says, you can't deny that he has made a lot of money knowing what women want. And he has applied it for the past 8 straight years. His business sense is savvy. So I can't deny that. I have to give him his fair share, his paid dues. He deserves at least that. Now, men, if you are looking for Derrick Jaxn to give you such woeful, amazing, critical advice to help you men out, look no further because it's not coming. Look no further because if it does come, it comes with a slice of humble pie. Look no further, and don't get me wrong, he has said some decent advice for us, I'm not gonna lie, but a lot of the advice leans towards women, and a lot of the advice kind of pushes away the man or rids him of his importance because, again, you need to put the women on the pedestal. Who cares what the man really thinks? It's all about the women. So if you look at the reverse and you see all the men now, you think, they're gonna complain, and they have complained for a long time. A long time the men have complained. I'm sure maybe there were some women that complained too, but it's mostly the men, writing him off as a person who's just a big old simp out here. Just trying to give you a false sense of it's a fairy tale, essentially what they're saying. All these men are like, yo, you're listening to this guy? So now when you look at all his videos, you say, yo, and you see the men talking, you're like, nah, us men, this is crazy. He's just only telling you what you want to hear. But is it true? Is it false? Should you really follow his advice? Again, it's subjective. But I know a lot of brothers out here who just say, nah, this is crazy. He is just setting you up for failure. A lot of people don't like his stuff, mostly men, because they feel as if he's giving you that false sense. You're just propping the women up to make them feel as if they don't have to do anything. And the man has to do literally everything. And a lot of men are shaking their heads saying, this is wild. This is crazy. But of course, again, when it comes to women, emotion. That's just overall the thing. Emotion. When you push the emotion and drive their emotions crazy, forget anything that's really being said. This is what they want to hear. And it could be definitely true. I'm not saying everything he's saying is wrong, but those men out there, they say, nah, he's doing too much of this fairy tale talk. You need to get your slice of humble pie, women. That's what they're basically saying. So you outweigh the pros and cons. The pros are he's making a ton of money based on what he's doing, based on applying all his principles and all his advice towards the women's emotional state. And the con could be a lot of the stuff that is very emotional does not really derive from maybe a realistic sense all the time. It mostly derives from an emotional sense of inflation, inflated ego, something that you see and you say, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all of that. So now we look towards those Kevin Samuels or Alpha Male Strategies and we say, oh, now that's what we're talking about. But Derrick Jaxn is basically, he's the middleman. He's the middleman. You got your right side, which is Kevin Samuels, and you got your left side, which is Alpha Male Strategies. And then bring it in the middle is Derrick Jaxn. He is that man. Or so we thought. Now, there's a lot of stuff that has happened over the past few days. And a lot of stuff is just coming out. But I want to say this. I'm not doing this out of any spite, out of any malice. I'm just stating what I see. Because let me tell you something right now. Oh boy. Derrick. I watched, literally, all his videos. I watched from start to finish all his videos. And what I saw mostly was something that was resonating throughout mostly every video. And that's his ability to project. To project what he's doing. Now, let's look at what happened. What the hell happened as to why this guy is now in the hottest of hot waters, in the depths of relationship guru hell? Well, there were women that called him out on cheating. On cheating. Okay? And Derrick Jaxn decided to address it in his first video, where he was by himself. And then another video with his wife. And then there was another video with his wife again, but it was a live chat. The people who have already watched this maybe a million times and studied what was going on, let's look at this and think about it. The first video, he was addressing what was going on and what happened and what the problems were. He had his black tank top. I shouldn't say tank top. It was more of like a Henley. Of course, the 2 buttons down, and of course he's so muscular he can't button up the shirt. But okay, it's cool. I understand. You gotta look sexy, right? Got you. And he was talking, and the amount of times he would pick his shirt up and lift it off of his chest and his arm and his shoulder, it was so much. I couldn't even keep count. I was like, wow, how many times is he gonna lift up that shirt? I don't know. And he was confessing to certain things. He was confessing to what was going on. It's so crazy because he has a brand that talks about being very loyal to the woman. Very loyal to the point where you are looking at a movie where the men are rubbing the women's feet. I mean, he did say he was going to rub their backs and all that when they get home. He basically was admitting to infidelities in the first video with this woman who was in Miami. And apparently at the time, and this was in 2020, things went spiraling out of control. He tried his best to work with what was going on, trying to reconcile the marriage out here that we didn't even know about. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. And it spiraled so much out of control, he said, fuck this. I'm done. I can't get back my woman. I'm done. So what does he do? He goes out and he decides to go to Miami or Florida, whatever, and deal with this woman that he has been dealing with for over a decade. Not crazy as he apparently said, but just dealing with each other here and there. But he's married now, so they can't be dealing with each other like that. But since Derrick Jaxn's wife, Danae, said, I gotta call it quits in February, as I said, he spiraled out of control, as he said, went to Florida, got a yacht, and in his words, I'm not gonna say I quote, but in his words, he said, they had a sexual relationship without having sex. Sherrod, repeat that again. Okay, I'll repeat it again. He said they had a sexual relationship without having sex. Sex is in the word of sexual. I don't know what that means if you don't have sex in a sexual relationship. So was it a feeler relationship? Was it a touch and go relationship? Was it a patty cake relationship? Let me know, because apparently I don't know the meaning. This must be a brand new meaning of sexual relationship. A sexual feeling ship? What is this? Okay, but he basically cheated on his wife that we don't know about, by the way. A lot of people had no idea Derrick Jaxn had a wife. Okay, next video. It's him and the wife. Oh baby, we gonna break this down soon. Okay? Now, he states and basically opens up even more and says, listen, I cheated on my wife, I did this, I did that, I was unfaithful, blah, 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 holding the wife's hand real tight. Then doesn't she look like she's struggling to, but real tight. Real tight. And she states her case, he states his case, roses and daisies, yay. They had a third video, live chat. I mean, yeah, it was what it was, but you got what you got out of those 2 previous videos. So let's break down Mr. Derrick Jaxn. In 2013, and we're going to bring this all together because I want y'all to listen to the sound of my voice when I tell you what I would say the issues are, what you should take away from this. I want you to listen to the sound of my voice to tell you and explain to all of you what I have seen. And maybe you have seen too. In 2013, he had his first video. His first video was just a basic question and answer session. This was in November 2013. And his first video talked about a book that he came out with called A Cheating Man's Heart. A Cheating Man's Heart. We look at that. And you're listening and you say, wow, okay. So, he wrote a book named A Cheating Man's Heart. Now, when I talk about projection, look at it from what I just said to what he did just recently, or what he has admitted to because of these ladies speaking out on him. He admitted to cheating, and his first video talks about a book that he wrote called A Cheating Man's Heart. Now, he answers some woman's question to basically state that he has found somebody that he's fallen in love with. That's the first indication of anything, but he doesn't really expand. He doesn't really go crazy. He never really mentioned a relationship, or he was in a relationship. He just said he has fallen in love with a regular lady instead of somebody who was a model, because that was the question. Would you fall in love with a model or something like that? All right. So, do you see that's the first video, people? That's number one. His second video that he made ever on YouTube, he says he plays to a woman's fantasy of a perfect man, shows feelings every chance he gets. It's like a movie. This is his spoken word dialogue that he did in his very early stages of doing YouTube videos, or just videos in general. He would do these spoken words, and he would talk just like this. He would talk just like this. Shows feelings every chance he gets. You know? We're just the perfect man. You get the picture, right? You understand what I'm talking about, right? He talks just like that. And that's his dialogues. His third video talks about his dream of a forehead kiss. And marriage, kids, fussing, sleeping with no clothes on, in case of wet dreams, queen. For anybody who's kind of like, oh my gosh, Ross, stop talking like that. It's not me. This is how, I'm just portraying how he speaks. This is literally how he was speaking in the video. And I said, wow, he is talking like the quintessential perfect guy. In his second video, that's what he was mentioning in his spoken word. In his third video in his spoken word, wow. Anybody who's a woman, shoot, your panties have dropped already. You're like, oh, I need this guy. You need him, don't you? Now, his fourth video. I want you to listen very, very closely. Okay? Remember, I'm going to tie everything together. So please pay attention. Please listen. This is his fourth video. It's called Somebody I'm Not, a spoken word. I don't know if this was from the book A Cheating Man's Heart. I can't remember. But if it is, if you do want to look back in the catalog, let me know. But this was his spoken word. Somebody I'm Not. I'm going to read to you exactly, word for word, what this man said that I took down very, very noticeably. A professor said, never try to be somebody you're not. And he, Derrick Jaxn is acting as the character, raises his hand and asks, but what if you have a reason to that you can't live without? The class, laughed. Derrick says, in character of course, "What if changing is the only way she'll stay, and you can't let her go because while you can always find another pretty face, the memories simply can't be replaced?" The professor's response was, "Are you suggesting that one should pretend?" Derrick says, "I'm suggesting that I'll do anything if it means keeping my best friend." Then he proceeds to say, "I'm sure you'll agree that God sometimes blesses us with things or people we don't deserve. Well, mine was her. And not knowing what you got until it's gone is a lesson I don't want to learn, but currently I can't afford my woman's worth. But if losing who I am now so I can build a future with her is necessary, then I'll give anything and everything to become a man who's ready. I'm running out of time. What sociologist have you studied that can turn me into somebody I'm not? A man with no scars from the past, no strings attached, no trust issues or lust issues when skin-tight jeans walk past." Let me break this down real quick for y'all. Whenever he speaks, you have to listen, pay attention. In these current videos, it's not that long because his first row of videos were only like a minute or two. If it was a collaboration, it'll be like 3 minutes, maybe 2.5, but it was short and to the point. But he projects a lot of stuff because we know he just cheated on his wife. This is the first time we're hearing this now, but way back in the early days, he says about somebody I'm not, right? He talks about, what if changing is the only way she'll stay and you can't let her go because while you can always find another pretty face, the memories simply can't be replaced. A lot of people, again, did not know that Jaxn was married. Or even, another bombshell, that this man had kids. 2 kids, I believe. So, he's been together with this girl, Jaxn, for a long time. I mean, a long time. It's been how many years? It's been so long. They've been together since college days. I'm assuming they got married around 2015, 2016 time. I might be wrong, but they've been together for about over a decade, I believe. It's been a long time since they were together. A long time. So the fact that they've been together, Jaxn and Derrick Jaxn, for a long time, and he's talking to tell you, what if changing is the only way she'll stay and can't let her go because while you can always find another pretty face, the memories simply cannot be replaced. When you look at that confession video with Derrick Jaxn, and you see him with his wife, they've been together for so long. The memories just simply cannot fade. You might think to yourself, well, Sherrod, you might be reading a little bit too much into this. You know, this is just a spoken word. You need to keep listening because a lot of his videos is him projecting what is happening. Okay? Also, he does mention God, but I'll get to God, our lovely Savior, later. That's a prominent thing that I need to get back to, which is actually a big thing within this whole scandal that's going on right now. So I'll get back to that. But he says here that, what sociologists have you studied that can turn me into somebody I'm not? You hear that? And when he, in his platform, has talked about how men should not cheat on their women, and men are this, men are that, step up to the plate, men, do this, do that. Oh, I'll do anything for my woman. And yet, literally, the opposite happens, and he cheats on his woman, his divine woman, cheats on her. Hypocritical feels like an understatement, but it is hypocritical, straight hypocritical. It's against his own brand of what he preaches. It's completely against it. But did you hear what I just said from his spoken word? What sociologist have you studied that could turn me into somebody I'm not? He's basically telling you he's somebody that he is not. He's not what you think he is. And he's telling you clearly, but you see, obviously, nobody's going to catch up to that until this happens. Nobody is going to catch up to it. And there are people that have saw this and said, nah, this guy is not really being truthful. This guy is kind of not being genuine. You could tell something is not right. He sounds too perfect. But they couldn't pinpoint what the issue was here. And now we see what the issue is, but I'm breaking it down for y'all. Okay? A man with no scars from the past, no strings attached. No trust issues or lust issues when skin-tight jeans walk past. His infidelity. There are women that have been with this guy. Women. Not just one, by the way. He's been cheating on his wife with multiple women. This is not the first woman he cheated on when he made that first confession in his big-ass Henley out here, you know? This is not the first time. This has been a minute he's been cheating. So, any woman who sees this guy as he's not telling the public, and I'm not telling you, tell your business out there, but if you are projecting that you are a single man and you're not, if you are not even trying to show your wife that you've been together with basically since college at all, and maybe you showed it once or now maybe 2-3 times out of so many times, it sends red flags, man. And people don't even know. I'm not telling you to do you, of course, but you're promoting yourself as if you are a single man. And you're not. And from your spoken word, you want to be somebody you're not. You want to be somebody you're not to any woman that you see, because you know your looks, the way you talk, the way you walk, what you do, your image gives a portrayal of the perfect man. And you use your business sense to do the same thing. Perfect. Sinister, though. But perfect. For your brand and for you. We move on. His 9th video, he talked about women submitting to their husbands and basically talking against it. It is a telling thing, though. It's telling. It's telling mostly because you see, this is where it starts to become man bad, woman amazing. Again, I said from previously, he has said some decent advice for men. I'm not saying he hasn't, but a lot of it is kind of just pushing the man to the extreme side and saying, listen, bro, you better step it up. You are broke like a joke. You this, you that. You're not the best that you could be for this woman. Come on. I'm better. You got to step it up. If I could be better, you could be better. Ha. Right. Okay. There was this time that Derrick Jaxn spoke about police brutality way back when in 2015. He was on CNN one time, and I will say the man is eloquent. Eloquent in his manipulation. Now, I don't think he's done a lot of these videos. Why would I say I don't think? Of course, I know he hasn't done a lot of these videos. I've watched all of them. He hasn't done a lot of these black activism videos. I just don't think that it brings him the bucks like it does when he talks for women, basically making women feel as if they are the queens of the world and king on top of that. And listen to me, I'm not trying to say, women, that y'all are not some queens or whatever, but he has inflated, for the people who have listened to this guy, he has inflated y'all to the point where you think a lot of stuff he says is literally realistic, and it's not. He doesn't actually give you the trials and tribulations, he gives you the fairy tale picket fence, and That's it. Sounds fantastic when he's applying it to your emotional state, but when you meet reality, it just crumbles and you crush up like a little piece of paper. It doesn't sound good when you meet reality, right? Anyway, this is his lane, talking about how women should be the best, and you are the best. This was his lane. Unfortunately, this was his only lane. He had literally all his eggs in one basket. And a lot of the stuff that he would talk about, that he would say, that he would chat about, was mostly him projecting himself to the world. But people obviously didn't notice that. They just noticed the exterior of this amazing guy, mostly women. So they're so encapsulated, they're so mesmerized, they can't really see through what's going on because he has mesmerized your emotion. Again, women have vivid imaginations. They have vivid imaginations. They're not even sometimes listening to him to listen to him. They probably look at him because they say, oh, he's a handsome dude. They just watch him because he's handsome. Oh, yeah, that man is not stupid. That's some good business sense. Come on now. A lot of his stuff, when you see his videos in the car, it comes from his chest all the way to his face. It's not even at least neck to face or at least somewhat upper chest to face. It's below the chest, up to the face. Smart guy, huh? Smart guy. But he projects these things that he talks about into the world, to y'all. So he's basically telling you something that he doesn't do. And some of the stuff, yes, he tells you stuff that he does do, but you don't notice because he's being somebody he's not. There was this video where he talks about how men would not have their woman friends around because they want to treat you like shit in peace. Wow. I mean, I could go on and on and on here because in his 50th video, he mentions he ain't married, right? So the somebody that he's not, since 2013, 14, he's mentioned that he wants to be somebody that he's not. He's not saying it from him saying, I want to be somebody that I'm not. He's saying it from another person's view. Somebody that he's not. He's saying he ain't married. But around 2015, 2016, he was married. So now we have a lie. And now you figure out he's married and have kids. When the cheating pops up and he has to address it. But he's been married for a while. So he lied here. He lied. And then he also talks about cheating not being good. Oh boy. This guy is a walking, talking contradiction, man. Oh, Lord. What? Men not coming with anything, needs to be at her level, rise to the occasion, requires more than men to have to offer to the world. There's so much. There's so much. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. All right? I'm going to tell y'all this right now. We see this because he is pivotal to his own downfall. Nobody noticed what's going on because he shows the perfect image. He's like a Captain America. He's literally like a Captain America. Remember when Iron Man said, I want to punch you in your face? Captain America acts like he's so perfect, but he's not perfect. That's the thing. That's the biggest saying that we always say. Nobody's perfect. That's true. Nobody's perfect. You strive to be the best, but you are not a perfect individual. If you were perfect, if men were perfect, we wouldn't need the woman. And if women were perfect, they wouldn't need a man. They would be fine. But how would the world go around? Think about it. How would things work? Things have to balance out. They do. They have to balance out. But Derrick hasn't balanced anything out. He's made everything one one-sided. Only him. So, when you look back at what I just explained or listen to what I just explained, and you come to this point now, and you look at his video. Let's analyze the first video when he lifts up his shirt 58 times out here. The man is nervous. These are allegations that have come forth. And since he is somebody that he's not, he has to finally address it, and it seems like he's breaking his shell. He is forced to break a part of his shell or show something that he doesn't want to show because this is not who he is. He doesn't show this side at all to the public. He has basically projected himself for many videos, so many videos. He has told men, basically, you're not the best. You better step it up. You're not great. I'm great. You got to be better. You got to do this. You got to do that. Oh, and as he is so nervous, he starts talking and chatting, and he just talks. He does admit he's messed up, he's cheated, blah, 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 but it's not to the fullest extent. And then his wife comes in out of nowhere, and he's like, hey, babe, oh, you want to come sit down? Because he's trying to distract himself from what he's telling y'all. Because, honestly, I feel this man was completely out of his element. He doesn't want to do this. This is not what he wants to do. But he has to do it because his brand is on the line. And it's funny. When there's a scandal happening, right? Whether it's politicians, the NBA, or any type of anything, really. And it's on the media. What does that person do? What do? They stall. They stall and say, no, I don't do this. Nah, this ain't me. Nah, it's a lie. They stall to the point of no return until they can't stall no more. Because 9 times out of 10, they actually did it. So, funny with Derrick Jaxn, he didn't stall. He did it. He said what he had to say, but he held back a little bit. You could tell he was still holding back because, again, this is not his element. This is not what he's used to. He's not used to opening up and being real to you. Because if he was being real to you, he would have been real to all the women that he's been deceiving for the past 8 years. And telling them unrealistic standards for the realistic world. He would have never been deceiving y'all. But that's his brand. So he has to save his brand. And his brand is a big image of lies. Straight up. I watched every video. It's a literal pattern of generally the same thing. Him getting into the subject, him talking about women and uplifting them to the highest degree, applying to their emotion, making them feel so good and jelly inside so that they could forget anything that's actually realistic to solve the puzzle of relationships. And then also just bring down the man while you're at it. Because men ain't shit, right? There are good men out here. Seriously, there are good men. It's just in this type of world, what he is doing only works for him. And for him to literally adjust and have to tell the truth or somewhat of the truth is not his wheelhouse. This is not what he wants to do. The second video, where he's with his wife. This is the first time we've ever seen his wife. Ever on video. For a lot of people, really. This is the first time they've ever seen his wife. His wife looks like she just came and just sat down right there. I need y'all to listen again closely to what I'm telling you. Watch the video and hear what I am talking about. Derrick Jaxn is the guy who's been always on the camera for the past 8 years. So he's used to being on camera. His wife is not. Clearly not. She looks like she shouldn't be there or she doesn't want to be there. She just doesn't look like she wants to be there. She looks nervous, more so I feel because this is not her wheelhouse either, and this is not what she's used to. Okay? She's not used to this at all. So, he talks, he says, I cheated, I did this. He actually opens up more from what the last video that he did and says he cheated, he did this, he did infidelity, all that. And he says, oh, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Now, there's a big part before I get to the rest of the video of the analysis and tell you what this big integral part is that caught me so off guard but got me so upset. In his first videos ever, he's been talking about God. So, this is his thing. I'm assuming they went to a college that is a Christian college, I assume. I'm assuming that's what it is, right? He was on the football team in college and boom, they found each other. So he's been talking about God for quite a long time. When he said in his first confession video where he was lifting up his shirt a lot and said, listen, at first, and I'm paraphrasing, at first he spoke to God and he was telling God what he wants. But he got so frustrated because Jaxn didn't want to see him again, right, at that time, took the kids too, and filed for divorce. She actually filed for divorce. And he got so frustrated, he said, forget this, went back to drinking, all that stuff, right? This is what he's saying, by the way. Went back to drinking and all that. Okay. And said, I spoke the word to God. I told God what I wanted. But then I guess he went to a pastor or somebody and they told him, yeah, you spoke the word of it, but you're not living it. You're not giving your life to God. And he said after he gave his life to God, stopped drinking, do this, do that, the third, everything was so much better. He became this, that, the third, blah, 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 all that. Second video with his wife. I give my life to God, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh my God. I'm sorry to use his name in vain, but oh. So, now you gave your life to Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. It absolves you from everything you did. And for anybody who is religious, I apologize, but this is what's about to come out my mouth, so let's be realistic here. When there's somebody who uses Christ's name in vain to justify their bad behavior, it makes me sick. It makes me sick. Because Christ did not tell you go cheat on your wife. Christ ain't tell you go to Miami and buy a yacht to have a quote-unquote sexual relationship without sex. Christ ain't tell you go be a serial cheater out here. You did that shit. You made the decision here on the planet Earth. No spiritual being told you cheat on your damn wife. You did it. So own up to your shit. Please. Own up to it. You're an adult, right? You're older than me. Own up to your stuff. Own up to it. Say, I did it. I cheated on my wife. I made the mistake. It was on me. I shouldn't have done it. That was my own bad. Own up to it. But don't use God as this cover-up to not make you feel like you are not accountable for your actions. And that when you all of a sudden give your life to God, oh, everything is absolved. No, sir, it's not. I just wanted to get that out the way because it's insulting. It's insulting. To me, it's insulting. Come on, bro. Really? So, yes, second video says everything. And you have to notice Jaxn's facial expressions. Obviously, his facial expressions are pretty clear, but Jaxn's facial expressions are extremely clear. She's not comfortable. Number two, that man holding her hand tight. And you see how her arm is all the way stretched out, feeling like he about to break her arm too. She's not comfortable. She's not comfortable at all. She's not. 3, as I said, she's not used to being on camera, so she's nervous. I don't even think she wanted to be there, as I just said. I don't think she wants to be there, but she does it anyway. And she admits to, just like what Derrick said, the other video, that she did file for divorce. She did file for divorce. She did take the kid. She didn't actually want to see him again. And then because he gave his life to Christ, that's when she came back. What? Really? So you just came back because of that? I always have a disclaimer at the start of my videos, in the description of my videos, that I have opinions, okay? So these are my opinions, people. But let me tell you something right now. And I'm gonna get to the rest, but Danae Jaxn, I believe that she is a person who is very faithful to God. She has wrapped herself in God and the faith and Jesus and everything, wrapped herself into it. So basically everything she talks about is going to be with God. And that's fine. When you see that she talks about that, after she even says too that it just came out as public that he's cheating, she been knowing that he's been cheating for a long time. So this was the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess. And she filed for divorce, but it didn't happen. I guess she just took it away after he gave his life to Christ. That's what brought you back to the dance? Really? Let me think about it this way. We have not seen this woman, honestly, ever on video. This is the first time we see her on video. If you have an Instagram, she does have one. If you have Derrick Jaxn's Instagram, you might have seen a picture, that one lonely picture. And on her Instagram, you've seen her a couple of times just there. But no videos. Just a lot of posts. She doesn't look well. She doesn't look well at all. She looks hurt. She looks broken. She looks frustrated, angry, pissed, everything. But also, she looks like she has been manipulated. Manipulation is one of the things that we're talking about here. She looks like she has been manipulated emotionally to the point of no return. I think she snapped out of it a little bit, but she went right back, so it wasn't really a snap, it was just a little pause. She's been emotionally manipulated. And to look at Derrick Jaxn and what he portrays, and how he held her hand, and the way he positioned her arm, those little non-verbal cues should tell you a lot. They tell you who's in control right away. It's not her. She wants to get out. You could tell in her face, because as much as somebody is talking and showing what they do, when you read body language, your brain does things that shows in your face that you don't realize it and you have no control over for certain things. And you could just see in her face certain things. When she said certain things, she just looked at him like, what are you talking about? Just like, yeah. You could tell something is obviously wrong. She is crying for help. Obviously. This girl needs help. And I'm not saying it to be funny. She needs help. She looks like she has been a recluse for a long time. Not to say she's been at home, but she just doesn't look like she goes out a lot. She doesn't look like she's a person who, if she decided to go out, which she did go out, and she did file for divorce and decided to find somebody else, she doesn't look like she's the person to find somebody either close to Derrick Jaxn or better. I feel she came back also because she is not the breadwinner of the family. She's not. Yeah, she did file for divorce. Could she have gotten child support and all this? Probably, of course. But it didn't go through. It didn't. Inevitably didn't happen. So understand that there's a lot of things at play. There's a lot of manipulation at play. And I want to get to this video. Hold on, let me prepare myself. He made a video after these 2 videos and a live chat. And he stated in this video, it looks like the same videos that he does normally, uplifting women and kissing women's asses all the time, basically. Inflate the ego to the point of no return. I'm just being honest. And he makes a video reacting to his own confession video with his wife. And that's not all. Yes, he stated that somebody told him that he should do it and he decided to do it, which I do not believe. But okay. He talks in third person. This man talks in third person throughout most of the video. No, I think all the video. Reacting to his own confession with his wife. When I saw this, I could not believe it. I think I was walking on the street and I was talking to my friend and I said, yo, is this man talking in the third person and reacting to a video that he just did the other day of himself? What is going on here? What's happening? Am I bugging? What am I looking at? What's going on? Nah, you lying. Seriously. He has a video talking and reacting to himself of his confession with his wife in the third person. The extreme narcissism is real. And he's explaining his explanation. Boy, oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. I saw the video and I wasn't cringing. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. He was talking about himself and uplifting himself and saying, oh, it seems like, and I'm paraphrasing, it seems like the wife looks very uncomfortable and doesn't want to be there, but it's doesn't realize that that's a part of her personality. And so much of him uplifting himself and saying, oh, he took responsibility. He did it. Ladies and gentlemen, this reaction video was basically him verbally masturbating. I don't know what else to say. I scratch my head now just thinking about it. What a narcissist. This is a serial narcissist. This is a horrible narcissist. This man is out of his mind. Wow. I thought it was obviously bad, but when I saw this video, honestly, the cake just dropped on the floor, and I said, nah, this can't be. This can't be it. This cannot be it. Why are you making a video talking about your wife? As if you are not conscious of what you just did. And then you prop yourself up to say, oh, he took responsibility. And you're talking in the third person. He sounds so arrogant in this video too. It's insane. And that's the thing. That is the biggest thing that I think needs to be said here. I have to adjust my seat for this one. All the videos that he's made throughout the past 8 years was basically him projecting himself to people, being somebody he's not. And because that was derailed because of two or certain women telling on him, he had no proper adjustment. He had to do damage control. But it wasn't really just damage control. Within the damage control, a big, huge part of it was image control. The image control where he's at the desk. But he can't do anything better because he's so nervous. And he's lifting his shirt up so much. The bigger image control where this man is with his wife. Image control. Image is the biggest thing that he cares about. Image control. And he's so narcissistic of his image, of his brand, that he could not take at least a day or two to just let things relax. He had to make a video of himself reacting to his own downfall. He was derailed and he had to go back on the rails because he has no other lane than this. He has no other lane than literally this. This is his lane. All of his eggs were cracked, and because he has no other basket, he has no other choice in his brain but to go back to the same lane because he has nothing else. If you actually went to his Instagram when he also put up that confession video with his wife, and there were people, celebrities commenting under his stuff, he actually talks about, and this is the narcissism again, he reacts to his own video in the comments and says, oh, you know, something about the wife. And oh, look at that bonnet or whatever. I don't know what he said, but I was like, yo, what is going on? It's crazy. It's crazy to see this. It's very crazy to literally watch this unfold. And I think this is literally just the beginning. It's so sad to see. It's so sad to see what has become of his brand. Because knowing that he is now a hypocrite and he only has one lane that he's been doing for the past 8 years, his content cannot literally be the exact same thing he's doing again. Yes, I'm sure there will be his downright diehard fans that will still rock with him, which that probably will happen to many people who've had issues, scandals, whatever. They still probably will rock with him. But a lot of the people who now know about him, who probably was watching him or not really or somewhat watching him, they're going to not watch if he creates another video that talks down to men. That, not to say uplift women mostly, but more inflate women's fairy tales. It's gonna just go down in the gutter. It's going to go down in the gutter. It's not gonna be good. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. I want to leave y'all on this note. And I want you to take away certain things from this. The levels of manipulation that he has done to women across the spectrum, across his 8 years of talking and giving advice, is unprecedented. Unprecedented. The levels of manipulation that he has came up with to where his wife has to create another video on her own page and talk about the blood of Jesus and this and that and the third, and it gets worse. It gets so bad where this manipulation seeps into where you look at her, you can't laugh. You feel bad because she is covering up. She's been manipulated so much to the point where she has to manipulate herself to think everything is okay. Through the Bible, through God, through Jesus, through everything, through her faith. She has to manipulate herself and use her faith as a guiding tool because she can't guide herself. If you look in her Instagram posts, it is very lengthy from February, I believe, but it starts, I feel like a little later. If you read her posts, they are very telling. I'm not gonna put it here. I'm not gonna really say much Just know that she has had a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of issues, a lot of problems, a lot of insecurities, extreme insecurities, and anxiety. And it has been exacerbated by this man. It gets so deep to the point where she even talks about emulating women who have been secreting juices on Derrick Jaxn. I'm just letting y'all know. Go to her Instagram, if y'all find it, and read it for yourself. It is the deepest thing you will ever read. It's sad. It's really sad to see. And these posts were before this came out. This cheating scandal came out. And she's been knowing that he's been a cheater for a while. So the fact that it has now come out is even worse for her. Because now her anxiety is going to go up to 1 million. It was already probably at 100. Now it's at 1 million. Because it's now public. And she has to either hear stuff like this, unfortunately, or have messages come at her. Even if they're good, it just raises her anxiety because it's just bad. Not the messages. I don't know if they're bad or good, but just having messages sent to you and getting all that publicity that I could tell she doesn't want, it probably is frightening for her. It's even more frightening that the narcissist in your life, Derrick Jaxn, is the one that's manipulating you to be this way, in my opinion. He has manipulated you so bad, you don't realize your own worth at all. At all. You left, and then you came back. Not him. She left, and then she came back. With the kids. Any other woman who was in her shoes and wasn't, I want to say, possessed by the faith, because at this point now it's just possession. She's holding on for dear life, right? Any other woman who is not so deeply in the faith to the point where it's this crazy and she is manipulated this bad would have already called 911. This is emotional abuse. You're looking at literal emotional abuse right now. I'm not going to allege any other abuse because I don't know. I can tell there's emotional abuse based on her posts, based on her facial expression, based on what she's saying, and based on what I'm looking at and me analyzing the videos that Derrick Jaxn has made and has literally portrayed to us. I could tell there's emotional abuse here. She doesn't look comfortable at all. So listen. She needs help. She needs to go to therapy. ASAP. No Rocky. She needs to go to therapy. Fast. You need help. You need help. Badly. I know you're crying out for help. I know you're crying out for help. You need help. But I feel that you're not going after it, not because I don't think you want to, not because I think you're using the Bible as the excuse barrier to reinforce the manipulation so that you could feel better. But I think it's more because, or I should say, you fear something's going to happen to you. And I'm not here to project that, but that's probably why you might not leave. Overall. In Derrick Jaxn's case, he needs help too. Yes, humans make mistakes, but this has been a serial mistake maker for a long time. So at this point, have you not learned from your mistake, or do you not want to learn from your mistake is the bigger question, the better question. Seek therapy? Of course. He needs help. The man needs help. But he needs to understand that this is literally bad. I think he knows. As I said, he's not stupid. I believe he chose his wife for many reasons. Maybe at the start it was a like or love thing. But when you are in college and going beyond, I feel as if when you get into college and you state certain things and you project yourself to certain people, you know who you are. I'm gonna assume this man is like in his 30s now, right? At this point, you have been who you are for quite a while. You're not 12, 15, 17, even 20. You have been yourself for quite a while. It's just been projected onto a bigger stage now. His narcissism knows no bounds. It's so bad to the point where it's holding his wife back from being the best version of herself. And I think it's on purpose, mostly because I don't think he wants her to be the best version of herself. I think he wants his wife to be the image of what a prototypical woman should be when he goes home to relax and chill, to have the memories, to keep them alive. Were they meant for each other? Maybe that was the case back then. But I don't think they're really together for love. I think they're mostly together for the bag, the money. Even if one feels that that's not mostly the case over the other, I don't feel that they are there really because they want to save their marriage. I would love for them to try to save their marriage, but seeing the behavior patterns and seeing how they both are, if she were to leave today and not come back, the pool of men that would take her is far less than 10% in my opinion. Shoot, probably less than 5. Because she's broken. And let me tell you something, no man who's at least decently regular and is pretty much chill wants a broken woman. It's tough. It's tough to see this. He wants to save his image very badly. His brand very badly. His brand is the moneymaker. His brand has been infused within his life to where he doesn't know how to separate the two. Because he's basically been living sort of a double life. But it's turned into one now. And he's trying to now separate it again. But it's hard because his brand life has helped him get to where he is now. So the fact that the shock of him having to address these allegations that he admitted was true pushed him off guard, off center. And now he has to deviate and come back into the center. But he was pushed out of that. Now he is desperate to save his brand. It's not looking good. It's obviously not looking good. The manipulation, the constant emotional abuse that I believe is happening. And I've even heard the other videos about maybe there's a mistress or so-and-so. We're going to say alleged stuff, okay? Allegedly, things happened and whatever. But there's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of narcissism. There's a lot of therapy that needs to be done. And Derrick, you can tout God all you want to, but God can't save you from the mess you have created. You gotta save you. Danae, I know you thump that Bible all the time, and I know you believe in Jesus Christ and He's the Lord and Savior, but how many times is He gonna pull you from the depths of hell that you're in right now to tell you that you need to save yourself? Please, you, Danae, please get some help. I know you're crying out for help. Just go get the help. Somebody, who are her friends, get this girl some help. And it seems like, actually, no, she has actually said that she even pushed away her people, her friends, I think even family, in one of her posts. She has pushed away these people. That is a typical abuse. That's typical abusing for a partner who wants to control the narrative, control what's going on. I think he chose you, Danae, because You were already broken, and he just tapped into the emotional aspect of you and broke you some more. And that's what he also did to all these ladies out here. Tapped into the emotional aspect and manipulated every woman thinking that this is how things are, and they're not. He has made his money off of manipulation. Emotional manipulation. You see it in their marriage, you see it on screen, you see it everywhere. What I want y'all to take away is a perfect way of doing things might not be the best way of doing things. Be real from the start. Nobody says you should tell them everything or tell the public everything because it's your life. But don't be somebody that you're not. Be somebody that you are. Be you. Because I'm telling you, you don't want to end up like this. And I wish for the best for both of them. No matter what I've said over this past episode, I wish the best for both of them. I hope they get out of this well. But there needs to be a conversation on mental health and honest therapy. Because if you don't seek therapy, this is the result. So I hope that they become better and they have risen from the depths of hell that they're currently in right now and become better human beings. I hope things become better.
A lot of you already seen this, but this is Derrick Jaxn. A lot of people think of him as a relationship expert and guru and all of that. Well, he and his wife are making this video because apparently at some point in their marriage, or maybe even beforehand in the relationship, he didn't take his own advice and he stepped out and he got involved with other women, as you heard them say. Now, upon first impression, nothing really stuck out to me about him, but more so about the wife. Like, I heard her say that she stands with her husband, she's proud to love him. I heard her say that, this is some time ago, they've already processed this, overcame this, dealt with this a long time ago, and nothing's really new to her. But just by her body language, I was really wondering, like, did he force her to do this video? Like, she looks super uncomfortable, like she doesn't want to be there. But then I watched their live chat that they did right afterwards, and I kind of caught that this is just a part of her personality, so that kind of explains somewhat of her demeanor. She clearly has a mind of her own, if you saw the live chat too, and she said that the live chat even was her idea. So with that, cool. She wants to stand by her husband. She feels like he's worth it. She has that right. Now, as far as what he said, I understand and I completely applaud him taking accountability, because too many times we see dudes and they got this sob story about how they was raised and, they broken home and the goldfish died and they never seen a marriage and all that. He didn't do that. He just took accountability. But I hope he understands that all the accountability in the world is not going to rebuild broken trust. Not on a personal level, and even with the public that he's addressing. Like, even his most loyal supporters at this point will probably have a raised eyebrow from this point forward whenever he wants to condemn another man for something like this, and rightfully so. So hopefully he understands that. And I also thought it was very intriguing how he brought in God at the end. I don't really hear him speak like that. So, do it God's way or else it's going to fail. Now, if I saw that a couple of years ago, I honestly would have called BS. I honestly would have been like, nah, dude, like, you can't use God as a scapegoat, as if you not having Jesus is why you did what you did. Like, if Jesus was there with you when you was with those other women, Jesus would have zipped up your zipper for you. That's not how it worked. Like, who are you kidding? But now I have a relationship with God for myself, so I hear things a little bit differently. And what I heard whenever he said that was that, when you go into a godly commitment, which marriage is supposed to be, you can't lean on your own understanding. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by your own willpower, your own good intentions and vows and love for a person. If you go into a godly commitment, you have to lean on God. You have to do things like to God's standard. You have to rely on God's grace. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it for the long term. And that I can personally relate to. Now, regardless, whether you like them, love them, or hate them, I think this is a great example as to why we don't need to be putting anybody on the pedestal. Nobody. And I think a lot of women did that. And I'm not even going to say it's the women's fault by themselves, because this dude, he never really showed his struggle. You know, we understand, oh, we're all humans and we all make mistakes, but he never showed those mistakes, not for real. I think he wrote about it or something like that, but he never showed that side. So it's not really all on the women, but I've seen a lot of women put this dude on the pedestal to the point of idealizing him and even comparing their man to him. Like they'll compare their man's good, bad, and ugly whole story to Derrick Jaxn's snippet. You know, which is, of course, a standard nobody can meet consistently. That's like a dude taking a picture of another woman who's in shape and she got a 4-pack and, you know, she just beautiful and all of that stuff and her body's just super tight, and him comparing his woman to that woman because his woman got a couple extra pounds from having a baby. Meanwhile, he don't know that woman in the picture may not even be able to have children. She may be struggling with that and coping with it by working out 2-3 times a day. She may have an unhealthy body image, and that's why she works out obsessively and consistently and looks so good. Like, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's wise to ever idealize somebody or compare them. Like, not only because somebody can be living a double life, which I don't think is quite the case here, according to his wife, behind the scenes, without anybody knowing. Of course, this part ain't gonna blow up, but he's been putting in the work to kind of reconstruct what all had been broken since last year. So I don't think it's a double life thing, but you don't know what struggle somebody has behind the scenes. You don't know their shortcomings. You don't know where they're falling short. So it's just not wise to compare, you know, on any level. Nonetheless, I know some people will see this type of video, even though he's come forward and he's been completely honest. Some people are just gonna close the book on D. Some people are gonna close the book on this dude and say, you know what? I'm done with you, cancel culture, come here. I'm more so on the side of his wife and just basically letting this be a new chapter of how I see him, because I do believe that his content over the years has helped a tremendous amount of people. You know, he tells the truth, he speaks facts. And quite honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I've needed several new chapters in my own life, Lord knows. And I'm not ashamed to say it, but I'm no guru. Those are just my thoughts.